It's a Schoolgirl Sampler Monday here at Always in Stitches. I'm Dawn, and we'll be sewing together, I hope. I hope you're at your sewing machine. If you're not, find some time to sit down just for you and sew a little bit. It doesn't even have to be on the Schoolgirl Sampler, but give yourself, you know, some me time and sew a little bit this week. I know it's Thanksgiving week. Whoa. Maybe you won't be able to find time this week, but try, okay? So anyway, we're winding down. We're on block 63 and 64. And number 63 is the bow tie. Pretty simple block to make. But then we've got the 4 knaves. And I says to Cappy, I said, first of all, how do you pronounce that? It's knaves. And then we looked it up because neither one of us knew what a knave was. It's not a very nice person. It's a scoundrel. It's somebody who gets into trouble a lot.
Is it somebody who connives?
Connives. Knaves and connives.
Conniving and conniving.
But anyway, there's a game called Knights and Knaves. And we don't know. I mean, it's maybe an ancient game or something. I don't know anything about it. But, you know, half of the names she's got in here, I don't know where she came from. But that's what she's called on this. The 4 knaves. So evidently she thinks that's a knave. Okay? A not very nice person. So that's the scoop on that. Now, I've got some great news. I just got back from Texas. We did some fun stuff. We worked on a stocking. I put the video on my own personal Facebook, but if you go to Moda blog, you could see it there. And I did some fun things for the last letters to Santa, which will be the day after Thanksgiving, that Friday. So we'll be doing that. It's getting down to the very last of we only have 4 more weeks of Schoolgirl Sampler, blah, 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 blah. And I showed all of my blocks to Tammy. She was very, very impressed. She loved them very much. And we did so many fun things while I was there. We shopped. I got some new shoes. Come around and see my new shoes, Peter. Went to the Clark's outlet.
Oh,
they were having a big sale. So I got a pair and Tammy got a pair because it was a 2-for-1. And they zip. Aren't they cute?
Yeah.
They're my winter shoes. I was wearing my canvas Skechers and I thought, ooh, maybe I better get me some winter shoes. So there they are. Very nice. At the Clark's outlet. They're in
Well, that's wonderful,
Texas.
Dawn.
So that was fun. And one of my best buys I got was a beautiful long gray sweater, $4.99 at the thrift store.
Can't wait to see it.
It had never been worn.
Can't wait to see it, Dawn.
It's gorgeous. It's
you
just
know I love
gorgeous.
my sweaters.
I know. Okay, so here's the bow ties. And there's the 4 knaves. Here's Cappy's 4 knave. Now, hers is interesting. She used this fun, wacky, dark color that is really colorful, and it really, I think it's really charming. It kind of looks like those sprinkles that you put on a cupcake, I think. And then, of course, this is what she's using as her backgrounds, the pinks and the teals. So here she's done her bow tie in the teals and her background with a light flamingo-y print. And then this one turned out really good. Now on mine, I used 2 beiges. And then I had not used this in the quilt yet. And I love that fabric. So I wanted to make sure I got that in. For my bow tie, I just went ahead. This is a fun fall print because it's got that red and green and brown leaves in it. And then I picked up this little background with the leaves, but it has a little red star. So I'm really, really pleased with the way they look this month. We'll see how my Peter blocks turn out, but I think they're going to be just as nice. Let's start on the more complicated one. Peter's going to come over
Get
and
my chair.
Get his chair and get all ready to film here by the sewing machine.
Knock everything down in the process.
That's all right.
All right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the block 64. And it's a little bit confusing because you've got some half square triangles here you have to make before you do anything else. So in the instructions for these half square triangles, it's the same cut as these F triangles, but the pieces that you make for these, you don't cut in half. So you'll have one of each. You'll have one of these and two of these. Two of your colored print and one from each of the prints that you're using in here. So those pieces, and that would be E and C and D and E. So C, D, E are the pieces we're talking about. You don't cut those in half. I want you to bump those up to the whole increment. But as for F, you need to keep those at the weird increment, okay? I know that's going to be hard to remember, but just know the ones that you're going to make the half square triangles out of, you're going to square those up. These F's, you don't get to square those up. So they have to be the exact increment, all right? So we're going to start out by making our half square triangles. And for my colored fabric, I'm going to use this pretty pink. I had not used it in the quilt yet. So I'm going to make my half square triangle. You know the drill. If you don't have the fun magic tape, you have to draw a line and sew 1/4 inch away on each side. I'm going to use my magic tape so I don't have to draw the line. I've got that set at 1/4 inch away from my needle, my stitch line. I'm going to go ahead and do that on both sides. And then in the book, of course, it tells you what size to square these up to after you've made them. And you know us, we don't open them up. We just cut them in half and leave them and then we square them up without pressing them open. And then after we get them squared up, now this happened to me earlier. My little gauge got caught. You got to pay attention to what's going on in here, because if something should curl up or get out of skew, you want to take care of it before it happens. So I'm going to cut that apart. Here I've got my half square triangles. I'm going to get my favorite square up ruler, half square triangle square up ruler from Quilt in a Day. Just going to go ahead and shave those in half from diagonal to diagonal. I'm just cutting in between those two lines I just sewed. And now I'm going to square those up with my ruler. And I put the dotted line on the stitch line, cut off the excess, and then I cut my corn kernels off. Did you see Gay posted her blocks in the Insiders group?
They were gorgeous.
Yes, they were. And Ginger Mahaffey, she said she finally got caught back up.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
And I think I either talked to somebody or I read a comment. Did I read a comment where somebody has to finish their Emma and then they're going to do this?
That would be Diana
Johnson. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. As for the rest of you, if you want to post your pictures on our Insiders group, that would be fun. We love to see what everybody's doing. We love to see what everybody's doing. It inspires us.
It's like a check-in. They're checking in.
Yeah.
Checking in with Dawn so she can see how they're doing.
Howdy doody.
Fabric choices, print choices.
Ooh, we have just skimmed that a little bit. My ruler moved on me. I've got to get those dots on my ruler.
Got those dots
My
on.
non-slip dots.
I think we showed those in an episode of like 4 episodes ago.
I think so too.
Or 6, I don't know.
Yeah, I need to.
You'll have to ask Santa for them.
Yeah, I've got some. That's why they're not here. I mean, that's why I don't have them on there. It's because I don't ever take this ruler home and my dots are at home. So anyway, so there's those. I'm going to press those open. And there's just nothing like a perfect little half square triangle square. I could just see stacks of those. Yummy. Stacks of them.
You have stacks of them.
I do have stacks of them.
You have stacks of
And
them.
I love them. And I love every one of them. I have boxes and boxes of them.
Some people have...
I would say yes.
Some people store some things in shoe boxes. Some other people store other things in shoe boxes that they like to, you know, store or keep. You got shoe boxes of half square triangles.
Everywhere. There's half square triangles everywhere in my house.
I love it.
Everywhere. I love them. Someday, I don't have anything else to do. I don't know when that would be. But I'm going to sew them all together. Okay, now you have two kind. Okay? You have one with this background. And then you have, two. And then you have two with this background. Okay? So keep those out separate. And put the background to the top like that. Okay? And then... Oh no, my background. My background goes like this.
Flip and rotate.
I forgot my background was the gray. I forgot my background was the gray. Okay, there you go. So now they're flipped like that because that's this right here. And then the E is my color. Okay? So now I'm going to take two of my triangles and I'm going to lay them out just like in the book, because if I don't, I'll get confused and I'll sew it on the wrong side. So if I get it laid out the way it's supposed to go, less likely, not saying I would never do it, but less likely for me to sew it wrong. So there's those units that I'm going to make now. You can't make this unit without making your half square triangles, okay? So now it just becomes a lesson in picking this up, flipping it over, lining it up. I'm not going to pin. I didn't get to sew any while I was there because we crafted. We did all kinds of crafts. Tammy has like a little craft booth in a vendor mall. And so we were getting it ready for Christmas. So we were doing all kinds of Christmas crafting. And we were having such a good time. But let me tell you, the kitchen was a mess. There was glitter everywhere. We glittered everything. Oh my goodness, I've never seen so much glitter in all my born days. So, well, maybe I have, because, you know, like if you go into Pier 1 Imports, there's glitter everywhere. So anyway, but this was everywhere, all over the floor, and then she's got company coming in for Thanksgiving, so she's got to get all that mess cleaned up that I left behind. Okay, now before I take those out, I'm going to start on my other block, and all I'm going to do is a stitch and flip. And this is my background, and I'm going to put it down in this corner right here because I'm looking at my little diagram in my book. And I chose this black print that I've not used yet. You know, I had that whole bundle. So I chose, I know I'm getting down to the very end, so I'm choosing some fabrics that I know go with the entire bundle. Now I'm going to cut off, see where my seam is? Not this end up here, but where my seam is, I'm going to cut that off. So there's two corn kernels to cut off. Just cut the one off where the seam is. That's the bulk you want to remove before you sew on your next piece. So there you go. Get those out of your way and let's press these open. Now, the unfortunate thing about this block is there's no chance to square up these triangle units after we get them done. That I know of. Maybe you guys know of a way we can square them up, but I don't have a clue. So, you're just going to trust that after making 62 blocks that you've figured out what your 1/4 inch is and that they'll come out the proper way, the proper size. What'd you do this weekend, Peter? You went to a horse auction, I heard.
Mm-hmm. Went to a horse auction.
Did you buy a horse?
No.
How come?
I don't know.
Were you tempted?
Of course I was tempted.
Of course.
They had colts and they had fillies and they had draft horses and they had walking horses or gaited horses and they had black horses. Oh, they had everything.
Did they?
Everything.
So I'm going to put these back down just like where I had them, and I'm going to pick this one up and sew it to that side. And if you feel the need to pin, go ahead. I'm going to turn mine so that the seams are on the top. I tell you, the one thing that goes on in Dallas is building. They're building new roads, they're building new housing developments. It's crazy because we are not doing a lot of building in this area. But there, whew, everywhere you turn, there's some kind of dirt turned over. It's crazy. It's crazy, I tell you. And I'm not brave enough to drive on those highways, those 5 tangled layer highways. Those things scare the bejeebers out of me.
There's a lot going on those.
I know. My friend Tammy, she's so brave. She just gets out there and, you know, of course, she almost kills us about 5 times every time we go out. No, she doesn't. I'm just kidding.
Do you have to hang on to the handles?
Yes. Yes.
Up by the...
Well, my knuckles are, you know, red and... Yeah, and I've got a brake on my side, but it doesn't work. And every time I get there, I say, Terry, how much gas do we have? She likes to play Russian roulette with her gas tank, her gas gauge. So anyway, I went ahead and sewed my other half of my bow tie so I could get these out of the sewing machine. And again, I'm going to trim the little tail off the end where I have the seam. Right there. And the previous piece gives me the angle. So do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip this to make sure it's correct, and then I'm going to cut off this excess. So let's sew those together. After we press them open. There's a lot more to buying a horse, Peter, than just buying a horse, isn't there? I mean, you'd have to...
There's a lot to it.
Do you have an extra bedroom or anything? And then feeding them, the feeding deal. How much money does it cost to feed a horse a month, you think?
Without stopping and thinking about it and doing the math, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they don't eat steak, so that's one good thing. What do horses eat? Hay?
Grass.
Grass?
Hay.
Straw?
Carrots.
Carrots?
Apples.
You always see in the movie they're feeding them apples.
Oh, they love apples.
Do they?
Oh my gosh.
They have a sweet tooth, do they?
They have a sweet tooth.
Wow. How fun. I know what they mean. I let myself eat sugar this week.
Did you treat yourself?
I did. We had pecan pie.
Because if you're on vacation, it didn't count.
Right. We had pecan pie. Okay, now for these little triangle pieces, you're going to match Now, nothing says you have to, but in the book, she matched. So I'm going to match up my background. See that? There's 2 that look like that, and 2 that look like this. So I'm going to lay my one with the seams on the top. And what I'm going to do is, since I can't size these up, since I'm not going to be able to I can't square these up. I'm going to bring that all the way down. And if I have a little excess here, I'm going to consider that my straight edge. I'm going to consider this my perfect piece. Okay? So if this piece is not matching the bottom piece, use the bottom piece as your true piece. So I'm putting that all the way over, and then I'm going to use this line right here. This will fall short, but it'll fall into my seam allowance. And then I'll know that I have a good square when I'm done. This is my other half of my bow tie. I'm going to do this. So you can see this block does look complicated. It's not that complicated. Okay? So now that one, see, came out much better. There's no overhang. I don't know why that other one was a little short, but it was. But I just worked that into my seam allowance. We'll see how this one turned out.
So if the block is called 4 knaves, and we know what 1 knave is, then 4, does that mean 4 times the trouble?
I would say 4 times the mischievous antics. I would say times 4, yeah. Because the knave is a person, so that's 4 people who are acting up.
They're rebel rousing.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you want them at Thanksgiving dinner?
Everybody's got to eat Thanksgiving. I don't know, maybe it's into the neighbor's house. What are you
Good
doing?
answer.
What are
Good
you
answer.
doing for
I love it.
Thanksgiving, Peter?
We're going out to eat.
Are you? Where are you
yeah.
going to
Going to an Italian restaurant.
Oh, my.
I like it.
Okay.
I'm excited. They better have pasta.
They better be open. Have you seen?
They're open.
Have you made sure they're
open?
open?
We got res. Yeah, we got reservations.
Okay. Alrighty. Now I'm going to, with this, I'm going to, this is my background and this is my bow tie.
Can I just say that that looks like snakeskin?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's really pretty though.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm. It's really pretty. So anyway, I think this is going to make
like
a nice
python
bow
skin.
tie. Yeah, it's going to make a nice bow tie because you know there's good contrast. Who doesn't love contrast? Me, I love contrast.
You know, I love high contrast, but I've been starting to see creative uses of low contrast.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of got my wheels turning.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Just going to check these.
Check them before you wreck them.
Yeah. Now see, if I trim that off, if there's any to trim off, that's going to make this point short. So I'm not going to trim any off. I'm just going to go with it, okay?
But you just wanted to check it first.
I wanted to check it to make sure that
what
it was,
accommodations you might have to make.
Yeah, but I don't have to make any, so I'm good to go. I'm going to cut off my corn kernels. You know, you don't want those in your way. Reducing the bulk. Make sure, if you reduce the bulk, it makes your blocks lay flatter. Okay. Okay, I'm pressing these open. So pretty. So let's put them together. So I don't think it matters, you know, which two you put together, but they point towards each other. So it's like this, and then they become a 4-patch. See that? So even though this is my background, I choose something just a little bit darker so I can have a little bit of contrast in there. See how she has, this one's just a tad bit darker. And you just want a little bit of contrast in there. So that's why I used those, okay? So it just now becomes a 4-patch. I'm going to lay those down. Did you notice I didn't pin anything this month?
I did.
I mean this week?
I did.
I don't know what's going on with me. Tammy and I did a video together and we had to sew. And of course, you know, she's Miss Speedy. So I was trying to keep up and it didn't work out good for me. I'm just not as speedy as she is.
She's on videos like speeding right along?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, we made some stockings. She has a real good tricky way of doing the back and the lining and the front all in one thing.
Jeez.
One scene.
Jeez.
And it's how you fold it out and put the cuff on that makes it pretty cool.
Whoa.
So, yeah, so you do need to watch it. Just go to either, well, you're friends with me on Facebook, aren't you?
I'm friends. I did accept your friend request on.
Okay, good. So you can watch it from that, or you can go to Moda and watch it, the Moda blog.
Motor blog.
Or if you're friends with Tammy, you could watch it on hers because it's on hers too. It's everywhere. We're everywhere. We've just taken over the Facebook is all I can say.
Can I watch it right now while I'm recording?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you gotta stick with me here. Peter might have just a little bit of ADD. Just maybe. I don't know. He wants to do 50 things at once. He wants to video.
My ADD's kicking in.
Is it? You're done with these blocks. You're wanting to move on.
These blocks look good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Dawn can sew.
I do love to sew.
Dawn can coordinate colors though.
And
That's
I do
the
love
key. That's the
colors.
key.
I do love color.
I like how you pointed out that just a shade darker on this
Right.
to make it work.
Correct.
To make it have the effect that the designer was going for.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, people can make it how they feel happy, and that's going to look amazing. But it's neat to learn kind of what effect different colors have next to each other of different lights and darknesses.
Color affects color. So if you put something next to something else, and like these two things, if you put this next to this one is the light one, this one is the dark one. But if you put this next to that, the dark one becomes the light one and this becomes the dark one. So that when we say color affects color, that's what we're talking about. Doesn't that make an outstanding bow tie because of the contrast?
Stunning.
Yum! Yeah, and I really liked that fabric, so I did want to use it. That gray green in there is really pretty.
Is a bow tie block something that you see in like a 30s quilt?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yes. Yes, very much.
I feel like we had one in our very first studio. In Studio A.
Remember we did a whole video on how to do just a regular one and then how to make a dimensional one.
That's what I'm remembering.
Where these are like 3-dimensional.
Yeah, that's what I'm remembering.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we did a whole
That was a good video.
On
and I love that bow tie.
And you know, any of our old videos are still accessible on our channel, right?
Yes.
I mean, they just when they get into our Facebook, our YouTube, they just look at our playlist. There's some titles up at the top, and one of the titles is playlist, and then you just go to Meet Me at the Sew Machine, and there we are.
We're all there.
And all the videos that Peter and I've done here at the Sew Machine are right there.
You can binge watch during Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness, that's exactly what you want to do while your husband's while somebody else is watching football.
I mean, if they're watching football, why wouldn't you have the laptop up or have the phone out doing some
multitasking.
YouTube?
Multitasking is what you do.
YouTube watching, or knitting, or cross stitch.
Yeah.
Or sewing.
Or all of them. If it were Peter, he'd be doing them all. He'd just be having a little assembly line, going from one to the other.
Like they have a Thanksgiving buffet, I'll have a Thanksgiving craft buffet.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. Yeah, that'd be excellent. Tammy's gonna have all of her grandbabies over for Thanksgiving, so she got on the internet and ordered pajamas for all the grandkids, and then her, which she's the grandmother, and her mother lives with her, so she got a set for her mother.
Oh, cool.
So it's gonna be grandma, great-grandma, and the grandkids
That's awesome.
for the holidays.
All right,
Isn't
let's
that
see
fun?
it. Let's see it.
There it is.
The ones for the Boys and Girls Club are too.
Isn't that pretty?
I
The Knave.
love this. You know, okay, you know how
Knave.
everybody's all about gray and yellow, Grello?
Uh-huh.
I'm liking the gray and red, I must
Yeah,
say.
yeah, very nice.
But that's
So
it.
there's
But
that.
the tone on that, it's not a strong red. It's a
No, it's more
It's
of
a
a
light-
bubblegum pink, really.
faded out red.
Yeah,
It's red that went through the washer a couple times.
yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So then let's do our bow tie. Just press it open. Bow tie was a pretty simple block.
You
Just
need
had
that after
yeah.
after handling the four
Two
names.
connecting corners. So there you go.
God, that's so cool.
let's put them all together. You know how we love to do that. Put them all together. And there they are. The Peter blocks,
Stunners.
the Kim Dale blocks, and the Tula Pink blocks.
I'm loving that
Yeah.
color and that and that and that.
Yeah,
love them all.
and that. All of them.
I love them all.
Love them all. Who doesn't? I think this has just been a wonderful journey. So, if you don't get to sew this week, probably pretty understandable. It's going to be a pretty busy week. But I brought home a quilt to sew. It's going to be fun. It's out of the new Robin Pickens fabric. It is really pretty. It's a fall fabric for next year. And browns and oranges and greens.
Is this a top secret that
It's not a top secret, but I can't show it.
but is it something that the fabric's out there?
No,
like
the
what her
fabric's not out
fabric
there. No, it's
What
not
I'm
even
trying
on
to
the
say
internet.
is what I'm trying to say, okay, so we don't know what the prints look like, right?
No, the salesmen haven't even seen it.
That's some top secret stuff. Shh.
Don't tell anybody.
You just said what the colors were.
I did, but I didn't tell you anything else except for it's new Robin Pickens. So, shh, don't tell anybody, okay? All right, so I'm glad to be home in a way. I really wish I was still in Texas, but it was cold there.
Oh.
30 degrees, Peter.
Oh, what did Tammy do?
Oh my gosh, they had their furnaces up, and I was ridiculous.
Did the electrical grid fail?
Oh my
while you were
goodness, no, but it was crazy.
there? Did you lose
crazy.
power to your sewing machine?
Unseasonable cold front came through while I was there. They blamed me for it. They said I brought it down to them. So, but anyway, have a fun week no matter what you do. If you get to sew, that's just a bonus. If you don't, make your own fun, make your own joy. And I'll see you next Monday. Bye.